Hello, I'm Lisa Bowerman and I play Bernie Summerfield, and welcome to Audio Heads podcast.
Hello, welcome to Audio Heads, a podcast and a product of Geeks Assembled. And today we are gathered together we are assembled to speak about the presidential election on a certain planet in the constellation of Cerberus. Wonder what you guys think about this, and it's called Desperate Measures. And so let us begin with Jake, because he's written down some information, and he is here, and he's got a big grin on his face. So go ahead, Jake. What's your opening thoughts?
This story for me, it wasn't one of my favourites. I'd have decided one of the weakest out of the sets for me. But I did love how it showed two sides to the battle, but also how corrupt the Time Lords themselves are getting. I loved how sinister the Dalek Emperor monologue was in the beginning, because it really set up the story like, oh, the Time Lords are fucked now because all these Daleks are getting together, so we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Romana, again, really stood out for me in this story. Narvin was especially good in this story. But I do have one gripe with this story. The reveal at the end, for me, was too predictable. I saw it coming like as soon as the box set was announced, because Desperate Measures, that sort of gives it a little bit away, like, oh, they're going to do something really big to save the Time War, and obviously Rassilon pops up anyway in the end of times. I thought it's basically going to be that in it. Spoiler alert, by the way. And I loved the scene between Romana and Brexit at the end, where he starts talking about the Doctor and how that he's like, I can't remember exactly what he said about saying like, even the Doctor won't come and save us, blah, blah, blah. But apart from that, I liked the whole political aspect of it. I'm just going to say that for now.
You muted, Susan.
I had no idea what you just said.
You're right about that. Okay, so I just was wondering, thank you, Jake. So I was going to throw it over to Tim to say what he thought of Desperate Measures.
Okay, sorry for being late. I had troubles with my mic.
No problem. Nothing.
I thought it was a little bit anticlimactic for the set, but on the other hand, this is the first set of probably at least 4 or something. So I'm guessing that things will be picked up later. But I don't think it really. I thought it was a bit boring when they got into this whole election nonsense. The idea that you're going to have an election. I know it was part of the plot for the big reveal at the end, which I like the twist ending, but the election was just boring and political, like most elections are. And I thought it had some really stupid ideas, like the idea that, oh, you're out of presidential terms, you can just regenerate and have another one as if you're a new person. That doesn't make any sense to me. It seems to me like if you have term limits, you have term limits. Just because you regenerate doesn't mean you're a different person. So that was just a dumb idea, I thought. But on the other hand, I guess it was well done. It was well acted, like they always are. Well, the production was good. But I just felt like it could have had a little bit more meat on it as far as the box set goes, because the other 3 parts were I think far better than this. Maybe it's just hard to come up with a decent ending, but on the other hand, like I said, it's not a full ending because they've got 2 or 3 more box sets to go, so we'll see where they go with it.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that, but the other ones are pretty political too. How about you, Beef Dad? What'd you think of Desperate Measures?
Yeah, well, the politics are there, yes, definitely. But the thing is, one of the things about the politics is it also creates Livia into basically one well, one of the enemies, shall we say, of Lalla Ward playing Romana. The bits with the Daleks, the interplay between the time strategist and the Dalek Emperor, they were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. Nick Briggs is just superb. He really is just superb doing the Daleks. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about it. Narvan was absolutely superb. I mean, he's been good all the way through, but in this one, he was just absolutely brilliant. Braxietl, Miles Richardson playing Braxietl, he was just great. That was great. And of course, Lalla Ward always comes through. She's a superb actress, and the whole business of the Project Revenant, and then the Daleks attacking and trying to destroy it, was superb. I mean, it was all so good and so well done, and so you got so involved during that particular part. I did. I don't know about you, but I did. Yeah, loved it. Pippa Bennett Warner doing Livia. Excellent. She's gone from sort of trying to hold things together to basically giving up because she doesn't think she can handle it anymore. And she's so convincing. She did a really good job. And of course, the thing that fascinates me is the construction of the sky trenches. I'd love to know a bit more about the sky trenches. But yeah, it's really, really very, very good and very, very cleverly worked out. And yeah, yes, there was politics in this, and I don't usually like the politics, but they fitted in and they moved things forward. And of course, spoilers, with Rassilon being brought back at the very, very end, but you don't know what's going to happen now. And that really gives you reason to carry on listening, which I think is excellent. It's a brilliant piece of work.
Thanks. And Lee, what did you have to say? What do you have to say about Desperate Measures?
Well, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I hate Daleks. And I'm not too keen on Time Lords, especially, the Gallifrey stories on TV. But I have mentioned it before that Big Finish know how to do Daleks far better than they are on the TV. They're more threatening in the audios than they have been on TV for the past so many years. But apart from that, I agree with what Tim said. This felt like two steps back to the first part of this four-part story, adventure, going back with the politics at the beginning of the story. It sort of stepped back again. For me, it was a build-up, story 1, story 2, story 3. It was building up, and this one went back down to the first. Because I'm not a fan of politics, but it didn't sort of overtake the story. Lalla Ward, brilliant performance as always, as Romana, and she was willing to give up that incarnation. Would we expect that Romana to give that incarnation up for the next one to come along? Would we have got Romana free back? Who knows? yeah, you could see what was coming at the end of this with the, the Rassilon Reborn thing. You could see a mile off, but it was still good at the end. It just makes you ask the question, have they secured Timothy Dalton for the next box set? Or the box set after?
Sure hope so.
Oh, yes. Because they've got to get him at some point, and maybe this is what it's leading up to, I don't know. But, I did like the interplay between Romana and the Dalek Emperor. I thought that was quite good. And the way Romana was, shall we say, thrown to the dogs as a traitor sort of thing, back conferring with the Emperor. But yeah, all in all, yeah, it's a good story. But not my favourite of the box set, as I say. It took 2 steps back for me. Over to you, Susan.
So, would you say, Lee, that was one of your favorite moments? Was Romana talking to the Daleks?
I thought it was because you would never ever in a lifetime believe that Romana would take. This was the desperate measures, I suppose. It was this, that, and the Time Lord Reborn. But trying to work with the Daleks was
Brax had set her up to do that, right? I mean, he had told her that. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Braxitel, but coming from Romana as well. You never expect that from Romana.
But see, like all politics, this is what they did, though. They took a noble gesture on her part and took it out of context to make her look bad. Yeah. Like in today's politics, it's all they do. I mean, it's amazing how ridiculous that is. I agree, though. I mean, with what you said about the Daleks, I think on TV it's just they're overused. When you only have so many episodes and you have to use them every year for whatever reason, I think that's why they're a bit more fresh at Big Finish, because you don't get them every month. You don't get them all the time, So I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So Narvin and Braxitel were great. I thought that Romana was awesome again. I have enjoyed the hyper-political stories in the Gallifrey range. I'm pretty encouraged that this one, she turns from being really presidential, she turns the corner into that sort of collusion that is sort of being revealed in governments on this earth today. It's very timely. Oh my gosh, very timely. And her discussions with the Dalek time controller and the Dalek commander were, interesting, and the fact that she would, she was taken entirely out of context and made to sound treasonous was amazing. It was, I love how that creative story. So that was really interesting. Also really interesting was the interrelationship between the CIA and the Council of the Time, the High Council of the Time Lords, and the characters of Narvin, Braxitel, and Romana and Leela, and the only characters really from the Gallifrey range that were missing were Leela and Ace. Well, Ace is new to it, but Leela definitely. And so Livia was wild, and she's actually the baddie in this in so many ways, and so there was so much going on, and I really liked it. My favorite moment was the political thing that Lee just said. I'll second that. And what would Other than that, did you have a favorite moment, Lee?
No, see, I just thought the moment for me was Romana, and Navin as well. The acting I can't knock the acting in these dramas at all. Even when we come across some clunkers in some audios, the stories that you think what, but the acting you can't fault it. It was just the interplay with the Daleks, Romana, the build up for the big Rassilon reveal. But for me, I felt a bit let down with this one. After the last one with the Devil with great Jacoby as the master and all like that, it was sort of dived down for me. But I still enjoyed it.
Sure.
So that's from.
How about you, Jake? What were your favorite moments?
Definitely the scene between Romana and the Dalek Emperor and the tension when words were twisted. Those were my two favourite scenes out of it. But I do agree with what everyone has said in this cast, especially him on this story.
Thanks. And Beef Dad, what were your favorite moments?
The one that really sticks out in my head is the conversation between the Time Strategist and the Dalek Emperor. That was just absolutely amazing, and considering that Nick Briggs did both of them, it was just absolutely amazing. The man is a genius. Yeah, and Braxiatel turning up again was something else that stuck in my head, and I thought, wow, I didn't expect that. Yeah, I liked that. I also liked basically the face down between Romana and Livia. I thought that was done so very, very well, and the soundscape, of course, was just absolutely incredible.
All right, Tim, what were your favorite moments?
Yeah, I agree with that. The music was really cool in this. It was that real 60s vibe kind of thing. What I didn't, I guess the twist ending is what I liked. I guess everybody said that it was kind of like obvious. I don't know. I didn't really see it that. I wasn't expecting it, but I thought it was a cool move, I guess. I like Lee, I kind of find the whole Time Lords kind of society kind of boring. The reason I find the politics disappointing is because they're based on our politics on Earth, and you'd think since they're Time Lords they'd be above all that kind of snarkiness and political one-upmanship all the time like you have in our politics here. No matter where you live, you have politics. It's usually one team against the other team, and I would think that Time Lord politics would be different somehow. That's why I find it disappointing that they do the same kind of things. But it doesn't ruin the story. It's still a good story. I think like has been said, it's just a bit underwhelming as the finale to the box set because the other three stories were so powerful. I gotta go.
All right. So my favorite bits I've already said. So let's do final say and score. Let's begin with Beef Dad, please.
Well, what I would say is everybody has criticised this as the finale to the box set. But I mean, what better finale can you have to the box set than the return of Rassilon? I mean, for God's sake, the return of Rassilon after all these years is just absolutely perfect. It's mind-blowing, and you really, really want to know what's going to happen next. How is Rassilon going to fight the Time War? So, did you want the score?
Yes, definitely.
I might give you one. Yeah, I'll think about that. Yeah.
All right.
All right then. I'll give it a 10 because it's brilliant.
Awesome, Beef Dad. All right, Jake, your final say and score is desired in this podcast.
Oh, this one's a tricky one for me. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10.
Do you want to say anything else about it?
I like the Dalek action. I liked how menacing the Daleks were in this story, but I think the fact that the Rassilon reveal to me was a bit disappointing. I didn't really like how it was executed. I thought that brought it down for me a little bit, and it did drag on a bit, like how Tim said, all the political stuff.
All right. Since Tim is back, yay! How about you, old bearded one?
I would give I think Lee made a really good point that if you have a problem with a big Flemish story, sometimes it comes down to the writing probably, because the acting and the production is always brilliant. But if the story sucks, and this one didn't suck by any means, I'm just agreeing with what he said, is that it's usually down to the writing, I'm guessing. So I'll give it a 7. I think if anything, it's just kind of a lackluster end to a good range of stories. I mean, this was brilliant up until this part where it just kind of, I don't know, kind of meandered. So.
All right. Thanks. And let's finish off with Lee Wilson. There
is one little niggling thing with the big finished universe, and that is Rassilon, it wasn't dead. So how could because Tom Warrington played Rassilon in the Eighth Doctor's Adventures.
That was a different time.
Who did?
Tom Warrington.
Okay.
If you ever remember Rising Damp?
I don't,
TV
but
series?
go on.
Yeah, he played Rassilon in a few adventures with the Eighth Doctor. So I don't know. And then he went into another universe, like Omega did. I don't know. But that's just a little niggle. When I was listening to it, I thought, well, when is this supposed to be set? But anyway, that's just me. I'm not going to give it a 10. I'm not going to give it a 10. So that's going to upset Matt Fitton, who wrote this. It's not going to be as chuffed as Scott Hancock last week, who absolutely loved that we gave it a 10 out of 10 all along, for the devil you know. I'm giving it a 7.5.
All right. Well, Matt Fitton, you don't have to to worry about our loyalty to you as a writer, but I will give it a 9 out of 10. I love the Gallifrey series, and I love how timely this was. Oh my gosh. Romana in collusion with the Russians, the Daleks. It's pretty timely. And then there's like the whole it's so good. Anyway, so a 9 out of 10 for me. And we will continue to listen and enjoy and stuff, all of the Matt Fitton stuff that comes later. And we look forward to more of these. Come on, bring some more Gallifrey, or at least your host here, yours truly, would like more Gallifrey stories. And I would like to see the Rassilon of television. But like so many things, it is a bit wibbly wobbly, timely wimey. The Rassilon stories could have been from his generations back then, before the Dark Tower with the Eighth Doctor. Anyway.
No, it wasn't. It was after.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. This requires more research. I'm going to go. I encourage you all to do your own research and listen to the stories and And thanks, blokes, for being here and for, listening to the stuff. And we don't really have a 100% sure thing what we're doing in the fortnight, but we just increase your joy. Watch the rest of our videos, subscribe, leave comments, and share it widely. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.